Let's compare the top and the bottom and the left and the right of this table. The top of this table has calcium and potassium, and the bottom has fluoride, and oxide and nitride. They all have these charges associated with them. These are all considered to be a monoatomic ion. There's one atom, and it's an ion because it has a charge. On the right side of the table, you see NH4 plus, down here carbonate with the -2. So there are more than one atom associated, but it also has a charge. So it is an ion, but it's considered to be a polyatomic ion, many atoms with the charge. Now let's compare the top and the bottom. The difference between the top and the bottom is that the top is a cation, positively charged either monoatomic or polyatomic ion. On the bottom is negatively charged anion, so you see negative charges. Now, the monoatomic ion, how did I know what charge to associate them with? Well, you need to look at this common ionic states of elements, or you could look at the periodic table and look at the trend of the charges. +1, +2, and then you skip on over, and tendency have +3, then skip -3, -2, and -1 is how I know which element has what charge. For example, let's take a look at calcium. Calcium is located here, and calcium is in that +2 row, so it has a charge of +2 when it becomes an ion. For fluorine is right here, and with the negative charge, it forms into a -1 charge because it's in that row of -1. More on this in the previous unit, which is the ion unit. Now let's get rid of this table right here and talk about the polyatomic. How did I know where to put positive and the negatives and how many of them? Well, this one, you just have to simply memorize this chart. Seems daunting, but it is definitely required for you to successfully succeed in chemistry. These are not the only polyatomic ion, there are more. However, I put up the most common one that you will see in your introductory chemistry course. So I highly recommend you memorizing this. Now, what are all of these have in? Why am I putting all of this up? Well, in order to form what is called the ionic compound, you need to combine the cation with the anion. It could be from mono to mono, meaning this one and say this one. And a combination could be from a polyatomic to a polyatomic, or it could be monoatomic of the positive and the negative of the polyatomic, or the positive of the polyatomic and anion. So the combination of any one of these, so between a positive and a negative, will cause to form what is called the ionic compounds. Now, I can't highly emphasize to memorize this polyatomic ion. So I'm going to go ahead and explain a little differently of ionic compounds. There are two types of compounds, molecular and ionic. Our focus is on ionic. And the ionic is made up of a cation and an anion. And the cation happens to be all metal, and the anion happens to be all non-metal. These were able to form because of what is called the ionic bond, the forces that hold them together. There are two types of bonds, covalent, which leads to molecular compound, ionic bond, which leads to ionic compound. These two types are the chemical bonds that you will see in chemistry. Again, let's go from top to bottom. There are two types of chemical bonds, and they are covalent bond and ionic bond. What is a chemical bond? It is the force that holds them together. So if you look over here, here's my sodium ion and a chloride ion. They are attracted together and they are pulled together to form what is called the ionic bond. Over here, here's chlorine, here's another chlorine, and there's a line in between. That line shows there's a covalent bond going on. More on covalent bond later. But what I really do want you to know is about the ionic bond, which is the electrostatic interaction of the negative and the positive ions coming together, and that attraction creates what is called the ionic compound. Let me show you in a different image. Here is a neutral charge. This is a metal and a non-metal neutral charged atom. Say some kind of reaction occurred so that the sodium becomes positive charge and chlorine becomes negative charge. There was a loss and a gain of an electron. Now, this positive and the negative, they're not just going to hang out separately, but because when in close proximity, they are going to form together to form what is called an ionic compound. The interaction between them two is called the ionic bond. Let's do a learning check. Which of the following are ionic bond compounds? I will show you the first one and then you can try the rest. I know for sure this one, sodium fluoride, this is an ionic compound. This one is an ionic compound. How did I know? That's because here is made up of a metal and this one is a non-metal. You try for the rest and come back and check the key. And here is the key. The top one is not an ionic compound. It's made up of nonmetals, no-metal. Even though it is charged, this is a polyatomic ion, not an ionic compound. This one is an ionic compound because this one is a metal, magnesium, and fluorine is a non-metal. Let's take that magnesium fluoride into consideration. How can we write an ionic compound? Okay, if it's a magnesium fluoride, how do we know to put that 2 right there and nothing over here? Well, what subscript to enter really depends on what charge each carries when they're in a monoatomic form. Right now, they have combined together form an ionic compound. But when they're separated and divided, okay, what were they before? Well, before, when they were separated, here's my magnesium and fluoride. Let's see what charge magnesium belongs to. Magnesium is located here, has a charge of +2. So we're going to put +2 there. What about fluoride? Fluoride is located right here and has a charge of -1. Having this plus and -1 gives you a clue what to write on the subscript. If I want to make this into a neutral compound, how many fluorines do I need to neutralize that +2? You need additional fluorine in order to overcome that +2. -1 is equal to -2. That -2 will cancel out this +2. So you only need 1 magnesium and 2 fluoride in order to form an ionic compound. So you're going to add this up together, which forms into magnesium. There's only 1. So I'm not going to write the 1, but just let it be. And then if F, how many of them are there? There are 2. So in other words, we can say in every ionic compound, the total number of the positive cation should equal to the number of the negatives of charges of the anion, so that the ionic compounds are completely neutral when they form together. Let's do learning check. Predict the formula of ionic compound between sodium cation, so that would be Na+, and sulfide anion. So I have Na+ and S minus 2. So it's asking for how do you write the ionic compound? What is the formula of it? Well, you need additional sodium because you need one more sodium for every one sulfur because there's 2 positive for every 1 negative. So we're going to write the metal first, which is the sodium. And then there's 2 of them and sulfur. And we don't write the 1 because we just assume there is a 1 there. So you're going to try the next one. Predict the formula of ionic compound formed between potassium and oxygen. Assume that the potassium and the oxygen will turn into ions. So you're going to go ahead and make them into ions. See how many each need to form a neutral ionic compound. Come back and check the key. And here is the key. Let's try the next one together. Gemstone sapphire is mostly a compound with aluminum and oxygen that contains aluminum cations, Al+3, and oxygen anion, O-2. What is the formula of this compound? So let's look at aluminum. Has a charge of +3. Oxygen has charge of -2. So we have a little more positive than -2, so we're going to add another oxygen in. Well, if I do this, there's a little too much negatives. It has total of -4 on the left-hand side, only +3. So we add another positive. Now we got +6 here and -4. Okay, let's go ahead and add another oxygen. Now we have 3 oxygen with -6 total, and then 2 aluminum with +6 total. So that works out very nicely. And so this would be Al2 and O3 since there are 3 oxygen present. Predict the formula of an ionic compound formed between calcium ion and a chromate polyatomic anion. Polyatomic anion, you're going to treat it as if this is a monoatomic. So calcium is Ca+2 and then chromate CrO4-2. Well, you don't need more calcium, nor do you need any more chromate in order for it to neutralize the whole compound because there's only +2 and a -2 that will cancel it out. So you'll have calcium, you only need one of them, and then chromate. And that's it for polyatomic combining with the monoatomic ion. Okay, so you're going to try this one and come back and check the key. And here is the key. You only need 2 hydroxide to cancel out 1 calcium +2. To indicate that there are 2 of the polyatomic ion, you do need a parenthesis and then put a little 2 to say that the whole entirety of the hydroxide, 2 of them is needed, not just hydrogen. If you were to write it like this would be wrong. That means that there's only 2 hydrogens and you're not treating this as a polyatomic. You need to treat them as one entity. So this would be wrong. This is correct.